Guys, and welcome to another episode of Gardening on Coffee, where our plants love our coffee just as much as we do. We're trying to turn our garden into a tropical paradise using some exotic and rare varieties of Heliconias and also some orange Heidi-Klum gingers. We'll show you what we've got growing from last week and where we're headed. So we've just trimmed our silver Bismarck up this week. He's starting to shoot some yellow sprouts through his top, and he'll begin to grow through his next growing spurt. And then we've got our philodendron sellums that are doing well from being transplanted earlier this year. We also trimmed up our Chinese fan palms this weekend, and then our lady dyes are just continuing to grow and get bigger every day. So we'll go ahead and show you the garden and what we were able to grow from last week and what we've transplanted and the progress we've made. So up first, these are our 4 hanging lobster claws, rostratas. These are our pink and yellow hanging pendulant flowers. They're doing well. The reason we moved them over here was they seem to be growing a little slower than everything else. So we put them to this location so they'll get a little bit more of the morning sun, and hopefully that should encourage them to grow a little bit faster. So that's why these 4 guys have moved. And again, those are our Heliconia rostratas, our hanging lobster claws, and those are our pink and yellow ones. Then up next, this is our Caribbean red. We've repotted him from last week. He was in a much larger pot. We weren't going to get any more plants for this year, but with it looking like our Heliconia Shogun up front was not going to make it because he was infested with some insects, we went ahead and got a few more. So we did have to transplant him into a smaller plot because we needed the larger pots for the other plants. So we'll show you those in just a minute when we head up to our front garden. But again, this is our Caribbean red. Should be anywhere between 8 and 12 feet. Doing well, continuing to grow from all 3 stalks after being retransplanted. So he's doing very well. Then we've got our 5 orange Heidi-Klum gingers, all doing very well and continuing to grow. There's no signs of any pests or anything else. So we'll just continue to monitor them and get ready to transplant them right after the winter. And up next, these are our marginatas. These were our 2 first marginatas, and these are these 2 right here. They're probably about 3.5 feet tall at this point. They're doing very well. A little bit concerned because we don't have any new growth down at the bottom. But again, they are doing very well, very tall, and we're not having any problems with these guys. And these were our first 2 marginatas, and those are the hanging pendulants that will start out vertical and then hang as they begin to mature, and those will also be pink and yellow as well. Up next, we have this is our standing lobster claw, and he's the one that will be red and black and actually look very similar to a lobster claw. Also 10-day flower, but should be very, very pretty when it matures and grows. Next up, we've got our 4 marginatas, and these were the ones that came in later as replacements from our cellar. They're all catching up very quickly with our new ones. They're probably about 3 feet now. This guy's continued to grow from 2 different spots, and everybody else is just continuing to grow with their single stalks, but very wide, looking like they're doing very healthy with their growth. And then back here are our 2 colored Jaquinis, Bahayas, and those are the 8 to 12 feet. Those are the standing flowers that'll be red at the bottom and orange towards the tips. So we have planned out a little bit better on where we think a lot of our plants are going to be going in the back. So let's go over that now. Up front, we know we're going to have our orange Heidi-Klum gingers. Our Jaquinis, the bicolor Bahayas, will probably be right to the right of our philodendron sellums on both sides. And then in the back, we'll have our marginatas. with marginatas with our lobster claws. The hanging rostradas will be in the middle. So we'll have our marginatas, the rostradas in the middle, marginatas, and then we're looking to have our root beers, Holerythra, and our Shogun will be to the right and to the left, and those will be our red hairy hanging pendulant flowers that'll have the white hairs, and those will be very beautiful and add a nice complement to our red lady dyes in the back as well. Go ahead and take a look at the garage, and this is where we had our palaus that we had transplanted from the front. They're both doing very, very well. This was our second guy to be transplanted, continuing to do well and get bigger every day. Second guy we straightened up a little bit. He was having trouble because his root ball had not grown established yet, and the wind was pushing him over. So we did go ahead and straighten him up this week, and he's looking very well. And then if you'll notice to the right, we've also got some more hanging vines that are solid, and we're going to have those around the 2 oak trees that are around our property. And so we'll be rooting those. They'll be rooting for probably about a month before we go ahead and transplant them to the oak trees. And we'll show you where that's going to be. Actually, it'll be one of these trees right here, and then this tree over here we went ahead and planted some more of our golden pothos, and we had been rooting these also for a month, and that is right here. Planted these guys. We've got 2 on each side of the tree. They're both doing very, very well, very, very quickly. So he's already started to sprout his new growth. And of course, we're really happy to see that. But around the exterior of our property, we wanted to have the vines to really delineate that this is our property, and make it go ahead and already start to feel like our tropical paradise, even when you do come up and see it from the road. So right here we've got our black magics that are doing very well. Right now we're trying to see if we want to go ahead and plant these before the winter, just because where we are going to plant these, we are going to have some utilities in the vicinity. So we want to make sure we plant them before their root balls get too big, just so we don't get any of the utilities that might be located below. And again, these are our black magics, which will be the red flower, darker red flower towards the maroon. And then these are our Prince of Darknesses, which will be the dark red maroon flowers with the curled tips. Our Prince of Darkness down here was starting to do a little bit, grow a little bit slower, so we went ahead and also moved him to the left. If you remember last week, they were reversed. Our Prince of Darknesses were to the right and our Black Magics were to the left, but this location seems to be getting a little bit more light, so we moved them both over here just because they seem to be growing at a little bit slower rate than our Black Magics did. So we'll take you up to the front and we'll show you what our garden looks like from last week, and then we'll also show you our 2 new additions that we got that we weren't really counting on for this year, but we did get them just in case we had some other varieties not come in for next year. So we'll go ahead and show you what they are, and then go ahead and show you what we've got growing from last week. So this is what our garden looks like for this week, and this guy right here and this guy are our new additions. This is a Pogonantha Holerythra. It should be about 10 to 16 feet, and it's a hanging pendulant as well. It'll be pink, almost like flamingo, with black towards the tips. And we got him for the location over around the side of the house where we've got our Shogun, just in case our Shogun does not make it, because this guy actually likes the lower light semi-shade positions, and that's what we're getting more on that side of the house. And then also he blooms almost year round, which is another reason that we picked him for that location, is the semi-shade they like, and then they also are blooming almost year round, which our Shoguns and even our Shogungs and our root beers only bloom for a couple months out of the year. So we wanted something that would bloom more thoroughly throughout the year. So that's why we went ahead and went with those guys. We'll show you, he does have a shoot coming off the bottom, and that's here. But again, we just got him a couple days ago, so we'll be looking for continued growth in the next couple weeks. This was cut all the way back when we first got him, and so as you can see, he's already started to grow out. But again, we'll like to see the eyes coming up further, just so we'll see new plant growth. These are our tricolor rhizomes from Hawaii, the first 4. They're all continuing to do well after they were originally treated for insects, which you can see some of the small bite marks on the leaves. But all of our tricolor rhizomes are still doing very well. And then in the back, those are our Kid Pink live rhizomes from Puerto Rico. Those should all be of the same variety. And again, those are the purple flowers with green tips and white stalks. These first 4 are just from Hawaii, and the back 2 are from Puerto Rico. Up next is our, this is our root beer from Hawaii, and that's our red hanging pendulant with the white hairs. He does have red on the underside of his leaves, which is a little bit unique with what we have had grown so far. So we're really excited to see him just continue to do well and continue to grow. And then this is our Regalis Barnum and Bailey that we got from Puerto Rico. Again, he does have a hairy stem, like our root beer and our Shikong will have. We're really excited to see him doing well and making forward progress. This just started to come out the other week and just continue to get bigger every day. So again, that's our Regalis Barnum and Bailey, and our the Legger root beer are both doing very well. Up next, these are our granadas, and these are the 4 granadas that'll be towards the back of this planter, and that's a red vertical pendulant. They're all doing very well, still working on their first growth, but be very excited to see them flower when they do and really start to take off after this winter. This is our Sassy Pink miniature, still doing well. Hasn't had any more growth than just this, but hasn't died back. So we're happy to see that, and really can't wait to see flowers when they do. These up next are our Bahias, our Jaquinis from up front, and these were the ones from Puerto Rico, and these will also be transplanted towards the back, and then go to the right and the left of our Chinese fountain palms. So these guys are both continue to do good as we monitor them for insects. Up next, this is our St. Rose orthotrichas, and those are our pink flowers with the white tips. Doing very well, no problems, as well as our Andromedas. Those are our miniature Andromedas in the back, just continuing to grow and get bigger every day. These 3 right here are miniature Laspatha, doing very good. This was our first miniature Laspatha that we got. It looks like he's working on his first flower, which is really exciting, because that's going to be our first flower from a rhizome. So really excited to see that in the next couple weeks. See him be able to continue to grow and take off. And then this is our Shogun that we got to replace the Shogun that is struggling over to the right of the house, and if he doesn't make it, he'll have a new location up here. But we just wanted to make sure, and we got this from a different supplier, because that supplier normally gives us the largest rhizome, so they'll have the biggest chance of taking off. So we'll go ahead and take you over to the side of the house and show you where our Shogun is having a little bit of problem with the low light levels over there. So we'll show you where that's at, which is right here. This is the guy that was having some problems with the lower light levels over here. As you can see, the rhizome is squishy all the way down to the base. This guy's still a little bit hard here. Just still hoping he makes it every day. And hopefully we'll be able to see growth. And if he makes it here, we'll definitely leave this, and this will be his permanent position. And if not, then this will be our position for our Pogonantha Holerythra, which is our new variety that we just got in. And again, that's a more year-round bloomer, and it also likes partial shade. So that is definitely something that we're looking for. We'll go ahead and show you where our oak tree, we went ahead and planted those golden pothos. We'll show you what that looks like, which is here. They've gone ahead and continued to grow really well, both sides of it, which is here and here. That's both new growth from this week. And around this side, we've also got really good growth, and this is just because they're getting really good light over here. They've already started to attach itself to the tree with the nodes coming out to the side. So we're making really good progress with our golden pothos, which is a lot of the reason why we went ahead and are planning on planting the other more solid color dark green vines on the oak trees that surround our property. So really excited to see those start to take off, and got a couple plants this year that we were not expecting to get towards the end of the year, but we weren't expecting to have our Shogun struggle so much. Unfortunately, that was just due to some insects. So we'll keep moving forward. And as we go into the winter, we'll probably cut back the shows to probably once every 2 weeks or around that, just because excuse me, everything is starting to grow a little bit slower. So I'm sure that as the winter gets closer, and as the temperature drops, everything won't be growing quite as fast. So there won't be as much to show you every week. So we do want to let you know that we'll probably be going to probably about once every 2 weeks instead of every week on Friday. And that's just so you don't get bored and you get to see everything growing still. But it'll be a little bit slower rate than it has. So we're excited you were able to join us this week. Please subscribe if you haven't. Always excited to have you back, and can't wait to see what we've got growing for next week. So until next week, may your coffee be strong and your cup stay full. Thanks.